right, so today what we're going to do is take us through the entire metaphor that we learned yesterday. All right, propane, C3H8, when used as a fuel, combusts with oxygen. They're basically setting you up. They're giving you the equation we're going to use. What mass of oxygen gas? What mass of oxygen gas? They want to know, they want you to go to oxygen world, and they want grams of oxygen world. Will be required to react exactly with 96.1. That is how much money you have. In what country? Propane. So, you're starting here, and they want you to go here. Gang, as long as you start somewhere, you can go anywhere. It doesn't matter. Sometimes they'll ask you for a reactant, like they did here. Sometimes they'll ask you for go to a product or go to another product. Sometimes they'll ask you for everything. Okay? It's no big deal. As long as you know one, as long as you have somewhere to start, you can go anywhere you want using this metaphor. Okay, so we begin knowing that we have 96.1 grams in the bank in propane land. And we've been directed to go to oxygen land. They don't use the same currency in oxygen land that they use in propane land. So a gram there is going to be a different type of gram. I think at one time, I mean, to continue the analogy, didn't the Belgium used francs as well at one time? But it was like you had to say it was Belgium francs and then it was French francs. So at one time, here's an example of two countries using the same currency, but it was different kinds of currency. Okay, so the illustration works. All right, so where are we going to have to go in order to exchange our grams for a currency that is internationally accepted in chemistry? Where do you go? To the bank. To the bank. Okay? And in the bank, what unit do you convert to that is internationally? Moles. So, in C3H8 land, you go to the bank and you ask to convert your grams into moles. Now, it doesn't matter what bank you're in or what country you're in, they're always going to say the same thing. They're going to say, okay, well, let's see. For every 1 mole, we will take the formula mass of this country. So the exchange ratio, the exchange is always the same. It's 1 mole per the formula mass of whatever country you're in. So you are in C3H8 land. So that's 12 times 3. That's 36. H8, 1 times 8. That's 8. That's 44. So in all the banks in C3H8 land, they'll give you 1 mole for every 44 grams. Now you are in units that you can travel with. So let's travel. So we're going to go from moles of C3H8 and we're going to travel to oxygen land. And before we do that, what's probably the smart thing for us to do? Anticipate what it's going to cost to go to oxygen. So where do you find that information? In the balanced equation. That's like checking the Chamber of Commerce. And what does that tell you? That 1 mole, it'll cost you 1 mole at C3H8 land. What will cost you? 5. Uh-oh. This is not good news. This means it'll cost you 5 times more in O2 land than it will in C3H8 land. Now, we travel to O2 land. Unfortunately, when we get there and we start using moles, which is supposed to be internationally recognized, they start making fun of you. Because everyone there uses grams of oxygen. You're using moles of oxygen, and only tourists and weirdos use moles of oxygen. So you feel bad, you feel peer pressure, and you don't want to stand out, so you go where? To exchange your money. To the bank. And what will the bank tell you? They'll give you, for every 1 mole, they'll give you the formula mass of that country. And that country's formula mass is 16 times 2. Yes, sorry. 16 times 2. 32 grams. That's it. Do you see now why I use that metaphor? It helps you connect everything. So, you would divide by 44, multiply by 5, divide by 1, no, you don't have to divide by 1, multiply by 32. When you go down, you divide. When you go across, you multiply. Do you also now see why I really insisted that you use train tracks? Thank you. Okay, I told you, I warned you, it was going to get long. Yes? What? No, anything that's on top, you're multiplying. Anything on the bottom, you're dividing.
Yeah, so I said, why don't you have to multiply 5 by 32?
Because according to the bank, for every 1 mole, you have 32 grams.
Oh, okay.
It would be 96.1 divided by 44, enter, times 5, enter, times 32, enter. So whenever you go to on top, you multiply. Whenever you go on the bottom, you divide. And I that's just the way I do it. I just go across. And I either multiply or divide, and I hit enter every time. What's the answer? All right, let's check Sig Digs. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay? Now, at this point, I usually say, hey, okay, so that's an easy example. Let's do a harder example, right? I can't do that for you today. These are all done the same way. So let's just do another example that's just as easy. Silver nitrate solution reacts with sodium chloride. How much solid will be formed if you have 25 grams of silver nitrate? Now on AP, this is an AP style question because before you even get started, what should you do? Okay, so I'm always going to give you a balanced equation. But I'm showing you what AP will require you to do. That's to put it all together. AgNO3 aqueous plus NaCl aqueous. What kind of reaction does this appear to be? Double replacement. Phoebe, double replace them.
Okay, so you would have AgCl
And
NaNO3.
Very good. And are you sure those are correct formulas?
Yes.
And I agree with you. All right, is it balanced?
Yes.
I agree with you. Who's solid? They mentioned that there was a solid formed. Which one's a solid?
AgCl.
How do you know?
Because alkali metals are always soluble.
Not only that, but nitrates as well. It's doubly soluble. Okay? So, as you can see in AP, you're going to have to do all the stuff that you've learned previously in order just to get started on what they want. You can't forget anything. Okay, so let's see. How much solid? So they want to know this. How much solid will be formed if, where do you begin? 25.0 grams of silver nitrate. So that's where we begin. We begin in silver nitrate land. And our boss tells us that we've been moved out of silver nitrate land. So we get excited, but we realize that the currency that we're using, which is grams of silver nitrate, will not work anywhere else. So we go to the bank in order to convert our grams to moles. And the bank will always tell us that for every, how many moles? 1 mole, they'll give us the formula mass. Okay, so silver nitrate, 107.9 plus 14 plus 3 times 16 is 48, 169.9. Okay, we're still in silver nitrate land. We're still in silver nitrate land, but now we're free to move, aren't we? But before we move, Molly, what should we go and figure out? The what? Okay, we already know where we're going. What should we figure out about where we're going? The cost of living. What's it going to like to live there, right? We better plan out. All right, so if we were to travel with our moles from silver nitrate land to silver chloride land, is there a difference in the way it would cost us? Let's see. According to the balanced equation, Molly, what's the ratio? For every 1 mole in silver nitrate, we will have to spend 1 mole in silver chloride. That's not bad, is it? It should be pretty close. Okay, so we travel there, Molly, and we start using the moles everywhere, and everywhere we go, they make fun of us because only cool people use grams. People who use moles are tourists or not very cool people. So you're feeling the pressure to convert to grams, aren't you? Okay, so you go where? To the bank, and there, what are they willing to give you for every 1 mole? The formula mass of silver chloride. Silver is 107.9. Chloride is 35.5. What is it? Okay, now we divide by 169.9, hit enter, then we have to multiply by 143.4, hit enter. And Elizabeth, what do you get? 3 sig digs, 3 sig digs. You all agree it's 21.1 grams of silver chloride? Now, I could have asked you for the amount of sodium chloride. Same thing. I could have asked you for the amount of sodium nitrate. Same thing. What's going to be different? The formula masses. In another equation, what would be different also would be the ratio. But in this one, everything's 1 to 1 to 1 to 1. Okay? Any questions about our story? All right. The back side of your worksheet has some examples.